On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, it's Mary and the Hendersons.
And Soul Eaters and the housing crisis. Let's do this. Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
And I'm Liz.
And we're going to talk season 11, episode 16, Safe House, which is not true.
It's not a safe house. It would probably be the opposite. It'd be an unsafe house.
Correct. But yeah, so what have you been up to, Liz?
I have no idea. I really don't know where time is going. I think it's probably because of this episode. I think I've been trapped in a time. Maybe I'm in the nest, but I'm in a dimension time place that exists outside of the normal realm. But that is likely because I am in an existence of a place that has yet to be, because we're both preparing to go somewhere else. So when you're preparing to do something else, you're kind of living in the future, aren't you?
That's true. Yeah, sure.
So that's what I'm doing. I'm living in the future, trying to prepare to go eat fire and hopefully not burn myself. What about you? And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, I've been busy. I've been busy. I went to the opening day of the State Fair of Texas, and I had a corn dog and mustard beer and cotton candy bacon, and saw big pigs, and they were cute.
We do like a big pig.
They were adorable.
They were thick.
Pig, I sent you a picture. It's like that pig. Apparently, that pig weighs like 1,000 pounds.
Yep. He had some badunkadunk.
And he was smiling while he slept. Dave's like, "Are those his balls?" I'm like, "I think so." And he's like, "No wonder he's smiling." Because they were very large. Yeah. And then, I just ran, fun stuff like running errands, and I had some wine with friends and getting ready for my travels.
Very exciting.
For sure. Yeah, so we're going to talk about this episode first, Liz.
Yes. So Unsafe House, season 11, episode 16. It first aired March 23rd, 2016, and was directed by Stefan Plashinsky, who this season we last saw do Don't You Forget About Me. That was episode 12. So it hasn't been that long. But I think this is the last episode of Supernatural he directs. This was written by the illustrious Robbie Thompson. This season he did Into the Mystic, which was episode 11, and he did Baby, which was, probably one of the top rated episodes of Supernatural of all time. So anyhow, not that this one definitely has its moments. And so let's jump into it and talk about how many jump scares Diana got. So,
God damn it. Yeah. I was so mad.
So we started off we're zooming in on this house in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where this woman's talking on her phone while she's doing chores, scraping wallpaper. Sorry, not doing chores.
Yeah. House projects. And she's bitching about how this house is more of a fixer-upper than she planned. As she peels this wallpaper, and we see that there's something like red, like red paint or something on the wall behind the wallpaper, but she doesn't notice because she gets off the phone and then she hears a scream and has to. Yeah,
how does she never notices this? Nobody notices I would really notice this immediately, but
immediately it's bright red on a white wall under the wallpaper.
But no, that completely, she ignores that, but because she does hear the kid screaming. So she's running to her scared child,
whose name is Kat, upstairs in bed. And she says that there's something bad in the house. That's terrifying. Mm-hmm. And then she said she heard footsteps, and they both agree that it's cold in the room, but apparently the furnace is broken. It's getting repaired tomorrow. So that could explain it.
Why is it so cold in my room? It's like, it's in Michigan.
Well, that too. Yeah. And then, but she wants a glass of water. So mom's going to go get her some water. And as soon as mom leaves the room, the lights turn off and the door slams shut. And this is where Diana is fucking freaked.
And the girl don't do this. She goes and hides under the bed.
God.
And also you couldn't fit under my bed. I have too much crap under there.
Same.
But she goes and she hides under there, and she can hear footsteps coming, and then the door opens and something grabs her ankle from under the bed. That's never great. And this whatever this is, it's a dick. That is just a dick move. Just like, I can't just like take your hand. I am going to take you by your foot.
It's very upsetting.
It is.
I was like definitely doing like this, where like, we're not watching, but like I put my arm in front of my face so that I can tell if I want to look, I can look, but I can also cover my eyes very easily because I am a wuss, as we have established before. So, Sam and Dean are at a diner.
Yep. And so we learned that there's no news on Amara or Cass. So we're not going to have an episode about them. Nope. We're going to have a Monster of the Week episode is what I feel like this is telling us.
Correct.
So that means we hunt.
Yes. So Sam has found this story of a woman saying that her daughter was attacked by a paranormal entity of some kind. And now the kid's in a coma with a handprint on her from the attacker on her ankle. So Sam's like, this seems like an easy win. Let's go do this. Dean's like, never. There's never an easy win in our world. Meh.
Yeah, he is a little grumpy. And so we go from there to our woman from earlier who is explaining that her wife still isn't there and wants to know why the FBI cares when even the internet thinks she's crazy.
Yeah, Naoki is having a rough time with this, but as soon as Sam and Dean start asking questions about like the being cold or lights off, she's like, oh yeah, that all definitely happened. There was the footsteps, the room was real cold, and the lights turned off. By the way, you want to search the house? Here's where my hide key is.
Sure, strangers in suits that seem like you're federal agents, go look through my house, even without a warrant. It's fine. Just go do that. So they go look through her house, and baby pulls up, and there's a neighbor watching the house.
Mm-hmm. And she wants to know what she can do to help. And they're like, well, we're with the FBI. And she's like, oh, that's weird. Why does the FBI keep coming back to that house? They were here a handful of years ago.
And they were two of the rudest FBI agents she ever met. And then Sam wants to know if they were elder statesmen, which I'm just, what the fuck, Sam? This is not a good way to describe them. And probably not the first things I would go to when I was describing Bobby and Rufus.
No, absolutely not. So, but we come up on our screen, the house a handful of years ago with Bobby Singer sleeping in a 1974 Chevy Nova in front of the house.
And he gets woken up by somebody.
Rufus pulls up also because Bobby is meeting Rufus to help on this case.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And because Bobby has been like, he's annoyed about it though, because he's been too busy trying to figure out how to avert the apocalypse that's on the horizon. But Rufus says that he thought a win would be nice for both of them. And
that's where we start, we kind of be getting these parallels. And they're also kind of shady about which apocalypse it is, right? And it takes you a while to figure out. It takes even me, like, wait, which apocalypse are they talking about? Like, what's Bobby, like, is it Dick Roman? Is he gonna die? Like, what's about to happen? So
it's also at the end that we find out.
Right. So that keeps you guessing. And so that's happening, but also something else is happening. Rufus can't work. Because
it's Shabbat. So but Bobby's like, you drove here, motherfucker. And Rufus is like, no. You've got to do all the work. Sorry.
Yep.
And this is where the neighbor interrupts them as they're walking up to this house to ask what they're doing. And Bobby's like, official business. She's like, what kind? And he's like, Rufus like, officially none of your business, ma'am.
Damn. There was a damn in there. It's officially none of her damn business. So yay. And speaking of her damn business, so Rufus was nice once, and that was in 1985. It was the worst year of his life. And so I thought we may want to talk about some other moments in maybe Rufus's life or Bobby's life. So we're going to play a game I'm calling Bobby or Rufus or Brufus?
Rufus.
I didn't know what to call them as a couple, so I just said Brufus. So these questions will have an answer of either Bobby or Rufus or both. All right.
Okay.
So this one became a hunter after his wife was possessed by a demon.
Bobby.
Correct. Rufus helped him exorcise the demon. However, we do not know officially if that could be both. All right, number 2. Once needed help disposing an okami.
I'm gonna go. I think that was Rufus.
That was Rufus. He found it in Billings, Montana. Number 3. Which one got infected by the con worm?
Bobby.
Correct.
No.
Which one got?
Okay.
Yeah.
I was right. I know.
Yeah. All right. Which one got killed by the con worm?
Rufus.
That's right. Well, technically, Bobby killed him while he was infected by the con worm,
but yeah.
All right. Number 5. Which one had a hunter's funeral?
Bobby.
That's true. Rufus was buried. Bobby can't go back to Earth because they burned his bones. All right. Number 6. Who has a pacemaker?
Rufus.
Yes. Number 7. This is a giveaway. Who loves Tori Spelling?
Bobby.
Correct. All right. Lost 3 toes since the beginning of George Bush's presidency.
I'm going to go Rufus.
That is totally a Rufus. Has the aliases Luther Vandross and Reuben Studdard?
Rufus.
Yeah, so though that would be amazing if those were Bobby's.
It would be.
All right, and our final question, number 10. Loves Johnny Walker Blue?
Both?
Yes, that is a both. That's a Brufus.
Damn!
Woo, Diana finally is
score!
back. She's back.
Woo, woo, woo. I did it. It's been a while since I got a perfect. Damn.
It is. All right. Well, that was super fun. And now we're going to go back to the house where and we start kind of doing these things. We're going to go back and forth from the past to the present. So they knock on the door and we cut to the present and Sam and Dee going to the door with the EMF readers.
But this is so cool. I love these transitions they do.
They're
throughout.
very good.
It's going to be very challenging for us to talk about it. So I think we kind of just lean into, we'll say where the scene is and we'll just talk about which person we're talking about that time. And that's okay. Instead of back, forth.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
We'll see. But I love how they get to the door. Rufus and Bobby get to the door. And as they get to the door, we see the door open and Sam and Dean walk in. I just love it. Anyways, so it's the first transition of this type in this episode. So their EMF readers are going off everywhere. As they walk all over the house, they meet up and are like, yeah, this EMF reader is crazy. And Dean's like, I've got some of Bobby's journals in the trunk. Let's go get those and see if it says anything, since they were clearly here before.
Yeah, Sam has gone in the room with the wallpaper.
Didn't notice either.
Just didn't see that. Okay, all right, so fine.
Weird. Yeah.
But yeah, we know someone's digging into trunk, so she gets a moment, even if we don't get to see her. Then in our past, a woman is telling Rufus and Bobby, who we learn is Mrs. Henderson, and Mrs. Henderson is telling Rufus and Bobby what's been going on.
Yeah, and her son called to her for help after he heard footsteps. She ran to the room and she finds her kid on the floor, unconscious. And the room was cold, the lights were off, and the kid had a mark on his ankle like a handprint.
And then we're like, oh, that's just like that girl from earlier. And then Rufus wants to know if there's any affordable motels in the area, which makes Bobby look at him aghast. Oh no. So then we're going to go to the modern motel where Sam has found the same room that Bobby and Rufus stayed in, and he wants to stay in it for luck.
Yeah. And
or just to save on scenery budget. I'm not sure.
Yeah, probably both. But Bobby and Rufus we see in the motel room where they're giving each other a hard time. Rufus really wants to know why Bobby's sleeping in his car, and Bobby's just like trying to blow him off, but he's got the realtor report about deaths that have occurred at this house. So then we see Sam and Dean having this conversation.
Yep, and we learned that one of the deaths was because a dude choked on a chicken bone, and another one was because a man shot his wife, which was less funny.
Yes. And Dean has the journal notes, and it says it's like a possible ghost hunt with Jackass is basically what Bobby wrote, and nothing else.
So no helpful information there, although that was fucking hilarious. Way to go, Bobby. Yeah. So Dean thinks, okay, this is going to be easy, right? We just need to find the graves. Like maybe, so there's 2 of them. They probably just burned one, right? So let's go find the other one. Easy peasy. And then we just get to go home. And Sam's like,
that seems too easy.
That doesn't seem great.
And Bobby and Rufus are just talking as they leave the motel. And Rufus is like, no, this is not a ghost. This is a Baku.
Well, what was funny about this one is Dean opens up the door and it's just like, do you think Bobby and Rufus wasted time arguing about crap like this? And then it cuts to Bobby and Rufus arguing about crap like that. And Rufus thinks that it's a Baku because he hunted once in Alaska. And so they're betting a bottle of Johnny on whether or not it's a Baku or a ghost. And they've got some digging to do. And our boys are going back to their favorite pastime.
Digging graves.
Digging up bones.
And as we hear Dean's commenting that there's got to be an easier way to dig up graves, we see Bobby with a backhoe digging up a grave.
Yep, much easier way to dig up a grave, Dean. Well, Rufus supervises. But the sun has gone down, and Bobby hands Rufus a shovel.
To finish the job, yes. And finally, Rufus asks again why Bobby was sleeping in the car. And Bobby finally gives up that he's been up for days looking for ways to stop the apocalypse because he's worried about his boys.
Aww. And Rufus kind of questions him on calling them his boys and then starts talking about the sacrifice for the greater good and that's the oldest rule of hunting is you can't save everyone.
So they hit a casket, and then we cut to Sam and Dean opening a casket, and it's full of ashes.
Just an ashtray. So not a ghost? Baku? What is it? We don't know.
So we see Naoki has returned to her creepy ass house. And
by herself for some reason.
And as she's walking through the house, the lights turn off and we hear footsteps and she trips and something grabs her foot and pulls her away.
Dick.
It's really rude. Very rude.
So rude. I'm also just really, anti, as we talked about last week, the Achilles tendon thing. It's really, it's a pet peeve of mine. So now in the hospital, Naoki's in a coma and it's serious.
And
that it took me that long to make the girlfriend in a coma joke, so you should be very proud.
I am proud of you for that one.
Yeah. All right.
Sam has found Dr. Richards. She's retired, but she was there when this shit went down with the Henderson family a few years ago, and she remembers that there was 2 FBI agents visiting then. So she wants to come see if she can be of help.
And we learned that the woman's first name is Mary, so it is Mary Henderson. Very close to Harry Henderson, and so unfortunately there's no squatching in this, but I did kind of wonder. So the Hendersons went back to the house again, and so they were in a coma. So everyone's just dropping into comas.
Yeah, because Mary went into the coma too, and so Mary and Will, her son, are both in a coma, and that back in the day, and then current, we've got Kat and Naoki both in a coma. So, but apparently they all of them have had a weird mark on their ankle, but it was not a normal coma because all of their vitals were failing slowly-ish, and rapidly, I guess they say, but I guess rapidly.
But are they? Because they're not dead.
I feel like rapidly you'd be dead. I feel like this is slowly.
I feel like they're slowly.
I agree. I was like
slowly, quickly dying.
Yes.
I guess it's just time is relative. Like how fast is slow. Like if you told them they were going to have 6 weeks to live and then they're dying in a day, that is quite fast. But
yes.
Anyhow, so then they're the boys are like, oh yeah, I wonder if the Hendersons are still around.
Well, and apparently, like, just after they were in the coma, this doctor tells them, by the way, the next day after all of this, they just woke up and everything was fine. So hopefully that'll happen again. And Sam and Dean go to talk to the Hendersons. And they pull up, and Mary Henderson is out front, and she's a little squirrely.
Yeah, but she's kind of like, I would be freaked out too. And she's like, oh shit, there's men in black here.
And she said, oh God, is it happening again? Because she's concerned about her son's safety, who we do not see here.
Yes, because we only know it was a handful of years ago. So we don't know how old that kid is now.
No. And she pours some tea for them and says she woke up and the agents told her just to never touch the wallpaper in the sitting room. But it didn't matter because, she wasn't going to go back to that house. But Sam's like, hey, there's 2 people that are in danger right now. Do you remember anything from that time? And she said, well, when I was in the coma, I had like these nightmares, but I was in the house, but it wasn't the same. It was dark and faded, but I saw things. I saw that my husband was dead. I couldn't leave the house. And I could see some kind of like spirit things there, but that was it. So fuck that shit. We sold that house and the market crashed and we lost everything and our credit's fucked, but it's better than being in that house.
Yeah, they walked on their mortgage instead of dealing with that house, which, I mean, in 2008, I mean, they probably should have just like stuck with that house, right? Just been like, I guess like we just live here now forever and try and sell this to like. So, I mean, there were a lot of problems back then, like nests. We didn't even think about the nest being part of the problem.
Yeah, the nests were not the problem in 2008. That was a big
so we go from her problems of renting forever, which there's no shame in that, lady, and go back to our unsafe house. And Sam finally is like, oh shit, look at there's wallpaper.
Finally notices that there's red paint behind the wallpaper. And then all of a sudden the wallpaper just like peels off very easily. And it, I mean, poor Naoki was like working really hard.
She was like, yeah, she's like, it was, like, you could tell she was doing that for hours.
She was scraping the shit out of it. And he's just
like, rip.
And so there's some kind of a sigil, and Dean vaguely recognizes it, but we see that basically the scraper broke part of the sigil. So.
And then we get a research montage.
We do. It's so cute.
So cute.
So cute. Well, Nightlife by Willie Nelson plays. We've got Bobby and Rufus flipping through old books. Sam and Dean flipping through internet and books and journals. It's kind of a cool little thing. So.
It is. And Bobby finally gets the answer.
It's a soul eater.
Duh. It eats souls.
It moves into a house. It makes a nest that is outside of time and space. It's terrible.
And yeah.
Get out of my house.
Yeah, it doesn't sound great. So, but the soul eater can like get enough strength to like basically like the yank souls into the nest, and then they fuck with their head and it keeps them vulnerable while their meat suits just wither and die. And then they move on to another house, but he takes the souls with him to feed him in the leaner times. And Bobby says like cud, which is a very disgusting euphemism.
It is. And Sam has managed to find the same exact thing in modern times that they have. So now we've got that parallel. They've found the same potential monster. And Bobby's like, fun fact, lore says they can't be killed, but they can be trapped. And he also thinks he faced one once before. So...
yeah, in Tennessee, in fact. And Bobby tells the story as it was in Bobby's journal, but then Rufus makes Bobby tell him the story how it really happened, and that's also quite funny. So in like Bobby's journal, it's like, I was guns blazing and da-da-da-da, and like in real life, Bobby's like, yeah, I shit my pants.
Yeah, I filled my drawers. And he's like, he could feel the badness. He was trying to help his hunter friend, who then found unconscious there. Poor Harvey. And he heard footsteps, but he had this old sigil that's supposed to trap monsters that it just hadn't really worked in other cases. So he did the sigil and then the house went back to normal. Okay, things get real bad, then they went back to normal.
I also just was like, this thing, I had it never worked before. And I was like, Mom, but just for shits and giggles, like, I'm going to try it again. Okay,
I know,
cool.
I was like, that's a weird plan.
Yeah,
Weird
and
plan.
then like Rufus like goes to why we love and hate Rufus because he's so fucking dark. Because like when you ask like what happened to Harv and like poor Harvey
Yeah.
never woke up, and Rufus just like old as rule.
I know. I'm like, harsh, man. Jeez.
Oh man. So then we go from there to the present past where
they realized that sigil was to trap the Soul Eater.
Yep, and like Naoki broke it.
But they're also like, well, if they put the trap back in place, what happens to Naoki and Kat if they're trapped in the nest? And then in that case, what happened to Mary and her son way back when, or whatever, a handful of years ago? And so Sam wants to go do more research, and he really starts wishing that Bobby and Rufus have been there to see what they're doing now with the men of letters, because they would have been the grumpy old men of letters.
Yes.
It's cute.
It is. It's so cute. But then Sam goes into this Men of Letters archive, which is now online and searchable. Who is doing this? Where is this being hosted? Is it just on Sam's laptop? I have so many questions.
Right, because they like broke up before the internet.
Yeah, no,
a long time.
Somebody made this. I mean, Charlie made how? But anyhow, so but thankfully the Men of Letters did have an answer because they found that you can make a more complicated sigil out of blood by cutting your hand, and then somebody paints it inside the nest, and somebody paints it on the outside.
And then, but that means somebody has to go in. Somebody has to let themselves be taken into the nest. And so Sam says they should rock, paper, scissors for it.
And Dean's like been on cloud 9 after finally winning one. So he's all cocky and he's ready to go. But sadly, his luck is over and he is lost once again.
So they have a plan. They've got a jar of blood and they go to the house.
So did the jar of blood come from his hand?
It's very confusing. It's a lot of blood.
And that's a lot of blood to come out of somebody's hand.
Like, I've got some... This is where I start getting annoyed with this episode a little bit, but I like it. Don't get me wrong, but you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
but in the past, yeah, we're not using blood. We're just using paint.
Yeah. Rufus is using red paint to paint the sigil on the wall, and he is taking fucking eternity to do this.
They're all taking why are you so slow? You're so slow. And some, but so it's going to get hairy in there. The Hendersons. Yeah. And Bobby is walking around with a shotgun. And
he's going to go upstairs. Why the fuck are you going upstairs, bro? You don't need to go upstairs. Stay with Rufus. This is stupid.
So he's doing that. Dean's walking around with the flashlight. Bobby then switches to a flashlight. Dean, now we notice, also has a shotgun in one hand. And then we get their ways that they talk to
so cute.
the soul eater. Everybody's going to stop. Turn this off. We say that one more time. Okay. So Dean says, "Come at me, you son of a bitch."
And Bobby says, "Stay away from me, you son of a bitch."
And then they both get yanked by their feet. The Soul Eater is such an asshole.
Such a jerk. So Dean wakes up in the nest, but what that means is it just looks like the house, but dark, like empty. And outside the windows is like black. It's real creepy.
It is. It's a very creepy place. And he sees a dead Sam on the floor, but it's an illusion.
Yeah, because he blinks and it's gone. Whew. And then Bobby's waking up in his version of the nest, stands, and he's calling, and then he sees what he's looking, called out to Rufus, but realized where he's at, and then sees a dead Sam and Dean on the floor.
So, and then Bobby finds little Will Henderson, who hasn't seen his mom, but he has seen the sad people. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that noise. Too. Fuck little boys talking about the sad people.
Yeah, they're super creepy dead people just standing very, very still, and all their mouths are black, and I don't know why. And
it's worse that they can't see that they're there somehow. That makes it worse.
Yeah, Bobby can't see them, but he's surrounded by them. Ugh, it's so bad. It gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, so we go on the Earth side where Brufus has found Bobby and then just leaves him and says, "Old as rule, sorry."
Yeah. And runs
Fucking
back down to
Rufus.
finish painting the sigil.
So slow. You had one line to finish. Why didn't you go look at Bobby? Like, you could have finished that sigil in the time that you went to go look at Bobby.
Yes.
One line.
So Sam, though, drags Dean's body into the kitchen where he's doing his sigil. Very, very, very fucking slowly. The sigil, not the dragging. He drags him just fine. The sigil is taking for fucking ever. He's done like one line. What the hell, bro?
Gotta get these angles exactly right.
And Dean's doing his sigil super fucking fast inside the nest. It's crazy. And Kat asks him what he's doing. She thinks it's pretty. So, yeah, but she's not supposed to talk to strangers. Dean introduces himself and asks if she's seen her mom there. And she's like, I can't see her. It's too crowded.
No, thank you, ma'am. Nope.
No, because shit's even more full in there than it was for Bobby. And there's a bunch of people that Dean can't see. And she says, you'll see them soon.
Yeah. So Bobby is like, okay, we're going to stick together to look for your mom. And then there's just more sad people.
And immediately runs off.
Yeah.
We're going to stick together. And he's like, ah!
Yeah, and then we finally get to meet the Soul Eater who possesses Bobby.
Well, Bobby finally sees the sad people.
Yeah.
And then he gets possessed by the Soul Eater.
Which I guess that is a possession. So Soul Eater Bobby then tells Rufus that if he shoots him, he'll kill his friend. But
the Soul Eater's face, did it look like a gray to you? Like an alien? Had the big angled eyes. I was like,
kind of a little bit.
What is happening here?
Yeah, it could be. He could be a gray. Face? Yeah,
that's my. There we go. So possessed Bobby is now with white eyes. Ew, is now telling Rufus not to shoot him with a shotgun.
Yeah, and Rufus is like, "It's just rock salt. Bobby can handle it."
Probably, but damn. Rufus.
It's very close. You can still kill someone. It's very close up range. Don't shoot anybody with rock salt that close up. Anyhow, so
but then like possessed Bobby, like the Soul Eater's just like, no, just come with me to the nest. Like thinks like Rufus is just going to agree to go with him.
Yeah, and Rufus just is like, so you can show me some messed up stuff in there while my fabulous body rots from down here. I love you, Rufus. It's so great. And so Kat and Dean are there with their pretty sigil, and he's just like, we're just waiting for my brother to finish. He's so fucking slow. He cannot make this.
Why is it taking so long, Sam? And then we have finally Dean can see all of the sad people, as I will also call them, because that's gross. And then we get once again our Soul Eater cloaked dude Gray approaches and possesses Dean.
Yeah, so he gets in his meat suit and then like goes to Sam and he's like, I can't let you finish that finger painting, boy. And so the Soul Eater is like an old Southern sheriff now.
What the fuck? and then punches Sam. Like the fuck?
Yeah, and we're gonna get some pretty good fights going on here. Yeah. But possessed Dean does also, so the Soul Eater like does get like their memories and shit because he's like, I can like keep you safe from the darkness, so he knows about that.
Yeah, but he also wants Sam to just come to the nest. Just come on, I'll keep you safe from the darkness. It's fine. And then Sam's like, try to talk to Dean, like talk past the possession. Like, Dean, I know you can fight this.
Fight it.
Yeah. So we are just going to have big old fight scenes with possessed Dean and Sam and possessed Bobby and Rufus are all having big old fights. But except Rufus shoots Bobby. But they're all fighting. Lots of fighting. But Rufus breaks away and finally gets to keep working on his sigil. And possessed Dean is telling Sam, well, as they break in their fight, that your brother wants to go to the darkness. I can keep you both safe. Ooh.
Yeah, but Sam gets to hit Dean with a chair because he's a lucky bastard. And yeah, so they're, they split up. Sam goes to work on the sigil. Possessed Dean's coming after him, but he gets to finish it.
He does. Finally finishes the fucking sigil. And we see the cloaked Soul Eater like pop out of the back of Dean's body. It's real weird.
Yeah.
But he's gone. And Dean wakes up, but he's still in the nest. He wakes up on the floor of the nest. And Naoki and Kat are standing there, and a bunch of the sad people surround. What? Their black mouths really upset me. I don't know what it is, but it's very distressing.
It is. It makes them extra sad people.
But they all start slowly disappearing. And Dean walks into the next room and he sees Bobby on the stairs.
He sees fucking Bobby. What the fuck? So he goes back to his body. He goes back to his body and is like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, both of them end up back in their bodies. So we then see Bobby installing wallpaper, which is tough to do. So good job, Bobby. And to cover the sigil. And his phone rings, and it's Rufus from the hospital reporting that everyone's awake and happy. But Bobby's like, that's good, but I'm just really confused because that was supposed to be a trapping sigil. So it should have just trapped everybody there, including him. And
yeah, so we don't know what happened. Isn't that weird?
It's super weird. We still don't know what happened. Rufus still insists that he was right, that it was Abaku that he killed while Bobby slept, because he wants his bottle of Johnny Walker.
Yeah. But and also just who cares? Like, just take the win, right?
Yeah. And Bobby's like, Bobby doesn't like it, but, Rufus knows that Bobby saw something when he was in the nest, and Bobby does confess. He's like, look, both of my boys were dead. And Rufus says, forget the oldest rule, and hangs up.
Oh,
he does have a heart.
Yeah. So in our present time, Naoki's wife has finally arrived. And so she's there with Kat, and they're talking on the phone with Sam, and they're going to sell the house.
Yeah, the house is safe now, but no. The kitchen. He's like, Sam's like, the house is safe now, but you might need to remodel the kitchen.
Yeah.
She's like, no, we're selling. Thanks. So we see Bobby leaving the house and waves at our nosy neighbor, and gets in his car and sees that Rufus has left a bottle on his seat, saying that he won.
And this is the same bottle that Jody finds with Sam in that other episode.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I missed that.
So we're going to get called back to that.
Nice.
I'm going to write down what episode it was, but yeah.
So he's starting to, Bobby's about to write in the journal what happened, but his phone rings and it's Dean. And Dean says they've got a lead on Lilith in Maine, but they're somewhere else. So they need him to go check on it.
In a not nice way. You said that in a very nice way. Dean's just like an asshole. Like, he's just so mean to Bobby. And Bobby's like, fine, I guess I'm coming. So that's why Bobby never finished that journal, because Dean was a jerk.
And Midnight Rider by the Allman Brothers starts playing. So, and then Sam and Dean leave the house. Sam asks if Dean thinks that Bobby also went into the nest and how that worked, because it was supposed to trap them. And Dean's like, I don't know. I mean, do you think we could have been in the nest at the same time because it's outside of time and space?
Time travel is stupid.
Yeah.
And Dean has the right response, was let's get drunk and never talk about this again.
Yes.
But first, gotta go to Tennessee.
Of course. Because they've got to go they've got to close the loop and figure out what this was.
Well, no, they got to finish the Soul Eater business because Bobby left the one with the sigils. Now they have to go and actually and kill it.
It's unfinished business. They got to go finish it off.
They had to go finish it. They had to go finish the other Soul Eater. And so then Sam wants to know what else Dean saw. And when Dean tells him, Sam's just like, it's kind of messed up that Dean seeing a dead vision of him is kind of comforting.
Yeah, it is messed up. Agreed.
Yeah.
But not surprising. So I guess that's why it's comforting.
Yeah. So, and that's how we end. So, do we get to find out who some of these people were?
Casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
Yeah. So on our cast for this episode, we've got Obviously, Naoki Himura was played by Jane McLean Guerra. She's Filipino. She's been in episodes of Dexter, 3 episodes of Dexter. She was in 24, CSI New York, Flashpoint, and Workin' Moms a couple times. Mary Henderson is played by Holly Alyssa. She's been in episodes of Voyage of the Unicorn, Fringe, Hellcats, Arrow, and Van Helsing as well. Dr. Richards was played by Michelle Scarabelli, who's been in episodes of Dallas, Father Dowling Mysteries, Star Trek Next Generation, Beverly Hills 90210, Kung Fu, Dawson's Creek, Riverdale, and Superman and Lois. She was a dancer in the 1980 film Prom Night, Jokey in the 83 film Funny Farm, and Susan in the movie series Alien Nation, or miniseries Alien Nation. There's a bunch of those. And then a lot of Hallmark. Our nosy neighbor was played by Barbara Pollard. She's been in episodes of X-Files, iZombie, and Blockbuster. She is a reoccurring character named Melissa in Virgin River, and also has done quite a bit of Hallmark. Our cat was played by Emily Delahunty, and she's been in episodes of Flash, Whisper, Series of Unfortunate Events, and Deadly Class. She was also Zamina in the film Wonder. And Will was played by Arian Bowie, and he's been in episodes of Arrow, The Whispers, and The Magicians.
Very cool.
Yeah. A lot of things we've seen before, so that's interesting. Yeah. So we got a Monster of the Week episode.
We did, and a monster that we never really, we hadn't seen before, so it was a new monster, and so it was an interesting one, and of course we got to pull a Bobby and Rufus back, which is always delightful, because especially when characters are dead, and you don't expect to see them anymore. I'm like, oh, we get to see them, they're back. Nobody ever dies on Supernatural, hooray!
That is kind of reassuring. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it was fun being a Monster of the Week. I think that really just, I think the biggest thing this one did was give a lot of satisfaction to the fans to get to see Bobby and Rufus, and probably continuing there's been a slight development, I think, in Sam and Dean's relationship recently. And I think it kind of highlighted that, and that's about it. As far as moving the arc for the season.
Yeah, no, I mean, they said at the beginning, we got nothing new on that. No new cast or Amara. So maybe the next episode, because this was episode 16. So we're getting close to the end of the season. Right. So we'll see maybe we'll learn something new about the darkness. Maybe we won't. On that, maybe. I don't know. Cheers, Jerk.
Cheers, Mitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Be a Dick production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios Podcast Network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.